Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, Chapter 17, The Descent of the River Ganges, text 22 to 23. From that Supreme Personality of Godhead appears Lord Brahma, whose body is made from the total material energy, the reservoir of intelligence predominated by the passionate mode of material nature. From Lord Brahma, I myself am born as a representation of false ego known as Rudra. By my own power, I create all the other demigods, the five elements, and the senses. Therefore, I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than any of us and under whose control are situated all the demigods, material elements, and senses. And even Lord Brahma and I myself, like birds bound by a rope. Only by the Lord's grace can we create, maintain, and annihilate the material world. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Being. So, this is a summary of how creation takes place. From Shankarshana, Mahavishnu expands. So, Shankarshana is there. From him, Mahavishnu comes. From Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu expands. And Lord Brahma, and he lies down on the causal ocean, which is also called Mahatattva. And from his navel sprouts a lotus. The stem of the lotus has all the planets and stars in that particular universe. And from the flower emanates Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma creates the whole, he's the engineer who creates the whole material universe. And from him expands Lord Shiva, from whom all other demigods are coming. So, if you see any project, there is someone who creates a project, someone who maintains it. Let us take a building. Someone creates a building, someone maintains it, and someone destroys it. So who's the most important? The one who maintains it. Because the creation takes place, say, in 1 or 2 years. The destruction can take place very quickly in a few days. But maintenance takes place over the lifetime of the building. So that is the most difficult job, and therefore Lord Vishnu takes it himself. And Lord Shiva is a representation of false ego known as Rudra. And Lord Shiva admits that it is Lord Vishnu who controls everyone like birds bound by a rope, where Srila Prabhupada says that sometimes vultures are controlled in this way. Vultures used to be visible 40, 50 years ago. We used to see vultures in the outskirts of the cities. They used to circle around and come and eat the dead bodies. But because of so many chemicals being used, nowadays vultures have reduced. So probably most of the youngsters have never seen vultures. I also don't know how vultures can be bound by a rope, because I've only seen vultures flying around, and I don't know if anyone who actually wants to rope a vulture. But Srila Prabhupada has got his information from an authentic source. But anyway, the point is that all the demigods are controlled by Lord Krishna. Therefore, we have to see that when based on our material desires or our fears, if we start worshipping demigods, then we are being foolish. After all, Lord Krishna is controlling everyone like birds controlled by a rope. So one of those who are controlled by Lord Krishna, why should we approach them? That, oh, please get my daughter married, or please let my illness disappear, or whatever reason. Where is the necessity? What is the logic? Why don't we surrender directly to Krishna and then let him take care? Sometimes people have too much faith in astrologers and in mystics and in witch hunters and people who will perform different kinds of yajnas to have effects on different types of energies. Or they go and perform different kinds of demigod worship. They say, oh, this demigod, if you go and do this, definitely for marriage you do this, for this one you do that. But it makes no sense. When all of them are controlled by Krishna, and when we have access to Krishna by virtue of the knowledge given to us by Srila Prabhupada, and by virtue of the fact that Srila Prabhupada has, through his disciples and grand disciples, planted the seed of bhakti in our heart, we have direct access to Lord Krishna himself. So devotees should depend neither on the material energy nor on the demigods. Depending on the material energy means being completely sure that by our efforts we will achieve material success. That is called dependence on material energy. So we have to stop being sure that we will achieve material success by our efforts. Our efforts may be necessary, but the results are dependent on Krishna. So farmers know this very well. They may make all the efforts to cultivate a crop, but there are many ways in which the crop can be destroyed. If the rains don't come, if the rains come but pests come, if pests don't come but diseases come, and finally if some thief robs you, you lose everything. So anything can happen. So every farmer knows this. But people who've been brought up in the city, who work for offices or factories, they firmly believe that everything is predictable. The monthly salary comes on time. Promotions takes place. You do this and that happens. People have this belief that therefore this is highly reliable. They don't see too much of failure in this. But that is changing nowadays. In the Gulf, of course, people have been used to failure because the ups and downs of oil prices have been taking place for 40 years. And people know that whenever there is a downturn, immediately people are removed. They also know that many people start their businesses because of easy availability of capital. They will start the business and then they will shut it down after some time. Now this uncertainty is extending all over the world. The biggest companies in the world, the biggest banks in the world have collapsed and failed. Periodically, so many companies remove the people. So we should not prepare ourselves saying that if I am very intelligent, and if I'm very hardworking, if I'm very smart in politics, then I'm going to materially succeed. Instead, we should keep on improving our communication and our connection with Krishna. Krishna says, as all surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So surrender means with love. That's what he keeps saying. So we should keep on developing a loving relationship with Krishna more and more. Two things happen. When we develop it more and more, then Krishna takes more and more charge of our lives. Everyone who's lived in the Gulf knows that if the king decides to show his grace to someone, he can set him up for life. He can just hand over 1 million riyals to that person because he likes him. So you can imagine all the more how if Krishna likes us, he can set us up in any way. But the only way in which devotees want to be set up is, let this be my last lifetime. Let me not get bewildered by material energy. Let me go back home, back to Godhead at the end of this life. Let me never forget Krishna, and at the time of death, let me remember Krishna. This is what a devotee wants from Krishna. So you develop your loving relationship with Krishna and ask for this. Then the question will come that, oh, but what about my material desires? If I don't ask for it, then maybe Krishna will not give it. The answer is that Krishna knows our heart. He knows our desires. So as long as without injuring our spiritual health, he can fulfill our material desires, he will do so. Why worry? So with this full confidence, if we engage ourselves in improving our relationship with Krishna, transcendental loving service to Krishna, then all happiness and success is assured in this lifetime. Next lifetime, we'll go back home, back to Godhead. Recently, for example, there were 2 or 3 people who were seriously ill in New Surabhi Kunj in Bangalore. So then we prayed. The devotees chanted 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra, praying to Lord Krishna that if you so desire, you may kindly cure this person so that they will get more and more faith in Krishna. And miraculously, all these 3 people came out of their dangerous situation and they are much better situated. So this is how Krishna can change our lives. So with full confidence, let us start depending on him. Hare Krishna.